Okay, so we're Paul and Sam, and we're here live on Freedom Strider, where we're gonna be doing a small section of our own van design conversion that we're gonna be building ourselves whenever we buy the van, which will be soon. Okay.
Soon meaning probably a year, but soon.
Yeah, but basically we're in the full swing of the design process of our van conversion, and today we're going to be talking about storage, which is a very, very big issue with a small space living. But more specifically, we're going to be discussing the garage space, which is generally the big, bulky space that you store a lot of stuff that you don't want in your living space. But
Indeed.
hold on, but before we get to that, first of all, we just want to say sorry for not releasing a video this Saturday. There's a very good reason for it, actually two reasons. One, we were quirky campers, which was awesome, and just if any of you awesome people that were there and we met you and we talked to you, you were absolutely amazing. We really enjoyed our time, so thank you so much for all the help and the great conversation. And the cat just completely stole my shot. So yeah, that was one reason that we couldn't post a video. We actually were gonna live stream some of it, but that didn't quite work out because as I said, we were literally talking the whole of the 2/3 days that we were there, and there was no time for anything else. But also the internet was about 5% existent. So yeah, but that's that. So that's why we're doing a live stream this week, and actually next week you're supposed to have a live stream as well, so you get a bonus 2 hours of us in the next 2 weeks.
Yep, the Quirky Campers video, by the way, depending on how fast I finish it, will definitely be out Saturday, but I need to edit it. It is currently Wednesday and it is not edited. I am working on it. It will be done by Saturday and it will be released.
I believe you.
But if you did want to go and see like some snapshots of what we did at Quirky Campers, who we saw, who we spoke to, and like just the general feel of what 800 vans looks
Go to
like
Instagram.
in a field. We've got it all on Instagram, so we're posting on there daily. Polly has very thankfully decided to dedicate the entirety of Monday editing all the photos.
Yeah, that was fun. My computer was slow too. It was great. Okay.
Anyway, so video on Saturday, Quirky Campers, live stream next week, and the week after.
They heard it. They heard it the first time.
Right, let's get on.
So now let's get back to the actual van designing part of things. So yeah, as we said, today we're going to be addressing the garage specifically. And what do we mean what do we mean when we say garage? Like, how can you have a garage in your like tiny house, van, home thing? Like, there's barely space for anything of your normal house, probably.
Well, the way that we see it is because cars generally have a boot where you just chuck a load of stuff in that you don't want in the car with you. Vans, unfortunately, do not really have a boot. I mean, sometimes they have like a weird spare compartment under like the plyboard floor, but bearing in mind that's not really useful. That's about it. So what we kind of mean by a garage is more of a house definition of a garage, where you kind of chuck everything that you sort of use but not all the time, and it just needs to be stored somewhere out the way.
Yeah, so for example, people that live in vans usually they can store the utility side of their house, so water storage, batteries, cables, pipes,
charge controllers, wires, plumbing.
So sometimes I've seen
Christmas
washing machines.
Christmas decorations.
I'm sure there's some Christmas decorations somewhere, but they're not that big of a part in this. But more importantly, so basically that's the kind of utility side. I've seen some portable washing machines as well. All of those stuff kind of go in there out the way, so they're not bunching up your living space, which is very, very important in a small space. Like, yes, very crucial.
The other thing that people often store in garages, in vans anyway, is things like bikes, snowboards. I've seen motorbikes actually in some of them.
Yeah,
spare tires, tools, whatever.
Motorbikes are quite popular.
Yeah,
which is kind of surprising to me, but I don't know anything about motorbikes at all.
Anyway, so it's basically a big space that you don't want when you're inside the van. You don't really want to see it, but you know it's there if you need to access it and you want to use it.
It's also the space where you could have the luxury to maybe have it a bit messier and maybe chuck something in. However, it's still a small space, so you do need to have some level of forethought as to how things are going to be arranged, especially if you're going to have something big like a bike in there. You need to plan that.
So, the question is, how do you build said garage? Where do you build it in said van? And how should it look? How should it function? And all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, and just so we're all on the same page. The canvas that we're using for a van build currently is so we're currently planning on buying a long wheelbase van of the likes of a Mercedes Sprinter or a VW Crafter, which is essentially the same van. That could change, but the dimensions will be approximately the same because we just want the length. So sorry, sorry. Yeah, so the dimensions that we're currently using are the 4.3 meters long and 1.78 meters. Well, 1.1.
1.78 meters wide.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, just glitched. Yeah. So those are the dimensions of the loadable space in the vehicle. So yeah, can you zoom out on that as well?
You want to zoom back in on it? Okay.
Yeah. I thought. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so this is the loadable space in the van that we have to work with. And basically the loadable space, as we've said before, is literally the space when you buy the van and you can put stuff in. You can just start chucking like boxes inside. That does not include the space in the walls, so between the outer of the van, and the inner of the van. So there's this sort of cavity that double lining wall that is not included in this design because that's all to do with insulation and things like that. And we're gonna
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we're gonna do that another time. It does not affect what really happens inside. Not that much.
Exactly.
Maybe a little bit.
Right. So, the most logical place and the place that most people often put their garage in their van is at the back. And now this is, yes, pens are behind you.
Ah.
There you go. So, the reason that most people put the garage in the back of the van are for several important and kind of logical reasons. The first one is that usually the garage needs to be a space that's not really usable very easily when you're inside the van. And quite often that is usually under the bed, because how often in your house do you go under your bed?
Okay. So basically, let's just illustrate what we mean, because
Yes.
so there's a few different places that you can put the garage, but like you said, the most common place. So if this is the bird's eye view, that's the bird's eye, that's the side view. So the most common place that people put their garage is if they have a fixed bed, which is raised like so. That's the mattress.
That's bird's eye.
Oh, bother.
It's alright.
Bother. Oh, bother. Ugh. Alright. Oh, it's messing up my beautiful white. Anyway, so, there we go. So, on the side view, here's the mattress.
Oh, we're going to zoom in now. Hoya. Nope, wrong one. Hoya. There we go.
Alright. And then basically, however you build it, you build your bed. It's raised somehow, and the garage space is down here. So there'll be garage.
And the way that you access it is basically you open the back doors, you come in. There we go. You
access.
come in, and then basically it's like a nice big space. You've got the wheel arches on both sides, and basically everything else is kind of just a big, giant gap that you can kind of just chuck stuff in. And from the bird's eye, basically, the bed is here, halfway or 2/3 of the way up the van, depending on how much headroom you want, and everything else underneath is garage space. Now, the reason that most people put it here is because, well, it's very easy to access when you're outside the van, so especially if you're getting things like, I don't know, skis or bikes or whatever, you can just open the back doors very wide, and there you go, plenty of garage space. And it's kind of a wasted space if you don't use it for that. Because what else would you put under there? It's not that easy access when you're inside the van. So,
well, the thing is, people raise the bed because of the storage space. Like,
exactly.
Like when you want a fixed bed, you don't necessarily want to have it, up like 3 steps up. People raise it for the storage space, and when you have a lot of bulk stuff like that to store, it is a very useful space. However, it can get a bit annoying to kind of if you have to go out the van to open the back doors and then go find whatever you need, especially if it's raining. Also, sometimes okay, it's sometimes you just don't want to go out. It's cold and it's not worth it, and it's best to have an access hatch inside, so you can like go in and clumber around and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And get what you need.
Yeah.
And have a convenient access hatch.
Not one that you kind of have to like play a jigsaw puzzle
Or
with.
dismantle the bed for, because that's kind of beside.
Yeah.
You know, it defeats the point of a hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that is one place that you can put the garage in. Other designs include. How
Are we going to draw it?
I should draw it on the bottom.
Yeah, let's go to the bottom one.
All right. So, other place, or how they put it is, if you were to have a let's say a convertible bed that's a couch. So this is the bird's eye, and you have this C-shaped couch. Okay, so sideways. So basically, I'm not looking this straight. Haha, you get that, right?
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, obviously, you can use the storage space in these cubes. Okay, underneath the seat.
Yep.
And if you don't have any like bikes or bulky stuff to store, that can be perfectly good. Good place. However, if you have sometimes like big water tanks, something like that, this space can be taken completely by water tanks or basically your system stuff. Meaning that any of your possessions will have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And there is also the thing that with the bed, with the raised bed, you raise it really high, whilst the couch would be about yay the height of the bed. So it'll be about you'll have half the height to work with, and you'll have a chunk eaten out of the cube as well. So it's a lot less space to actually use for storage. But it's a perfectly good solution, especially since this doubles up a lot more as your living space than this would. Because here, sometimes it's more difficult to sit in the bed, or not as nice to basically sit and chill and work or read a book or something like that. Not necessarily. Depends how you build the bed and how comfortable your walls are for leaning. It's completely up to your design. However, this does double up as your living space a lot more conveniently than a bed usually does. Okay, so that is one space as the second space to put it.
And then
the other one,
third space.
The other option I would say is actually before I move on to this can also go at the back, at the front, maybe slightly different shapes at the front, but I can illustrate those in a minute. But yeah, generally this sort of shape actually works very well nestled in here at the back of the. Can you raise that, please?
Yeah.
Nestled here at the back of the van like that. See, nice and cozy. Yeah. So the third thing is the hybrid, or kind of the hybrid of these two, which I've seen recently in a build done by 40 Hours of Freedom, I believe. So if you go and check out that video, you'll probably get a better idea of the real life solution. However, I'm gonna try and illustrate it here. So I'm gonna get the blue. Okay. That's the shadow. Can you drop it? Yeah.
We're gonna go down here.
Yeah, because of the shadow. Okay. Right, so the hybrid solution is imagine this couch raised on a platform. So this is the platform, and the couch is here. Drawing this backwards. Close enough. I'm sure you're getting this. I'm sure you have no suspicion as to what this is.
None at all.
Okay. There we are. Okay. There we are. See, a couch. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so what you're seeing here, right, is this couch has been raised on a platform. So this space here is obviously some storage space, and this can be your main garage, like that. But how is that, potentially better than either of these actually, is that, okay, you get all of this space underneath, completely uninterrupted to use, and you can put like a long
pull-out drawers,
pull-out drawers or something like that to get the stuff out easier, because you can't actually crawl inside. But here, this couch is still available for storage. So actually, what you're getting in terms of volume, you're getting about as much volume of storage as you would with the completely raised bed, which is up here. Slightly less, because probably the couch is still not as high, but not that much of a difference. So yeah, basically you'll get the majority of this volume of space minus the
cube in the middle.
The cube in the middle. Yeah. So this is actually a very neat hybrid. And why does this work? And also this gives you living space and your raised bed. So it's a neat solution in that respect. But how does this work? Well, because the van obviously is about sort of like that shape here. Okay, so that's the this wall of the van, and because you don't generally in this area, you're gonna be sitting, so and when you get up, you don't get up like straight up. You lean forward and you glide up. You should like test it now, like so literally just stand up, and your back kind of curves. So so actually, it's more or less normal for you to get up and down from this area. And also, I mean, you might need to do this for a second longer. Sorry, that's a bit too close. Like you do this for a second longer or something like that. And the other thing is, and then you straighten up.
The other thing is also you're not sitting on ground level. You're sitting all the way partially up, so your legs need to come down to be able to stand up. So you kind of don't change level. You kind of go I don't know. Your head kind of stays the same level, because here I'm sitting down on the floor, so I get up and my head goes up. But if you were sitting at this level, like here, then when you stand up, you don't actually go up anymore, or much more.
Why would you be sitting at that level? Well, why are you sitting like that?
Because you're sitting on here, aren't you? That's the couch.
But I don't understand how you're sitting. Where your legs would be then exactly the same height.
Yes, but your legs would be closer to the floor. If I were to sitting further up, see, my legs are closer to the floor, so I don't have to stand up as much.
You make no sense.
Do I make sense?
The seat here is exactly the same seat as here, only raised.
Exactly. So you're further off the floor. So your legs are. Don't have to stand up as much.
No, your legs are exactly. You're sitting exactly the same way you're sitting now. No matter whether it's raised or not, the floor is in the same place. In respect to the seat, the floor is in the same place. You're not sitting on a high chair. What are you talking about?
You're sitting higher up though, aren't you? Because you're above this.
You are sitting higher up, but you're still sitting exactly the same way you're sitting now. Otherwise, it's not going to be comfortable.
Well, I would be sitting more like.
No, you wouldn't. Your legs are not dangling. Your legs are not dangling in the garage, are they?
No.
You build the platform and then the floor is raised 40 to 50 centimeters higher. It's okay. It's like right now.
There's a little bit of raised bit in there.
Yes, there's a raised bit in there. It's like saying we're on the second floor, so my feet must be dangling down.
I'm going to use this one. We've got little raised.
I don't think anybody needs that explanation.
I do.
Because you're weird.
In here. There we go.
Hey, we got more people watching. Hi. Say hi if you like. Okay.
And say hi, because I definitely make sense.
No, you don't make sense. But literally, what you meant was like this would make them sit in a high chair, which literally.
I'm saying they're sitting higher up.
They're sitting higher up, but that doesn't make a difference. Your point is invalid. Because if your point was valid, we should dig a hole in the ground right now so your legs can dangle because you're sitting higher up in the world.
Exactly.
Whatever. Okay, moving on. Okay, so these are the sort of three bulk garage ideas that you have. I mean, we're not talking about storage, like storage cupboards or more kind of intricately designed places. We're talking about the spaces where you get to basically store your utilities and bulk stuff. Okay, so generally they exist in sort of these compartments, either the bedroom or the living space, or kind of in both, depending on how you do it. Now you might be wondering, how exactly can they fit in the layout? And here obviously we started doing it, and they usually fit at the back. However, as you might be wondering, you may not want them at the back or something like that. So I'm just gonna scribble a few designs for you.
We're getting to the top board.
No, I'm gonna go on the bottom one so we can keep that one going. Okay. I'm afraid I have to go in the shadow. Okay, so not really to scale here. I'm just gonna draw a few of these. So if that's still the front, so that's easier for reference from above. Front, so the door would fall here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Door is here, which should be about that much. So that's the door. Can you see that?
Sort of.
Great. Should I draw it bigger then?
Yeah, I think we should draw it bigger.
Okay, can you pass me the rubby
It's behind you.
Wait.
There you go.
Seriously, these things are crap. Sorry, that was really close to the microphone. That must hurt. Sorry. We haven't invited them here to torture them. Plus, they have the right to click off if they want. So do not torture them. See that's a straight van. Look at that. That's perfect. There you go. This is what happens when I haven't prepared the boxes. Okay, it's tragic. Okay.
The boxes are warpy. They're like jellyfish.
Yeah. So okay, if that's the door.
Is that visible? Yeah, I'd say that's visible.
Okay. So, let's say you want to have more storage here. You can have your couch here, like that, and basically it'll be sort of a L-shaped couch. You can do a raised platform hybrid as well. You might need to do kind of a semicircular step, sort of like here. So if that's raised, it needs to have some sort of platform like that.
Yeah.
So if I were to draw it on the side, so that this is in the event that you still want to use the slidey door.
I'll be the box drawer.
Okay. So with this design, you can still use both doors to enter or exit, but this is your main entrance. So this is currently the side view of this one, which yeah. So basically, if you wanted to build a hybrid out of this sort of design, it will have to go something of the sort. So this is the couch sitting area. Oh, that's a bit too high. Go overexcited.
There we go.
Okay, so this would be the couch.
Wonky van.
This would be the raised platform. And this does not actually help you at all. So I think I need to, in what direction should I draw it? So for this one, let me see. Sometimes you need a 3D. I'm boiling. Are you?
Nope.
Maybe it's my amazing artistic skills that are making me sweat. It's like, can you embarrass yourself live on YouTube? Yes, you can.
Very easily.
Without even trying. Actually, usually without trying. Okay, so that's the couch. Okay, that's located here. And then the platform would be... no, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, so if that's going all the way to the door, that'll be flush. And then you'll have to do some sort of a sort of circular contraption. So basically you still have access to the inside of the van. Something of the sort, like that.
And then the van would continue.
So this is the door. This is door. Okay.
So you enter here, and then this, if you continue this along.
Yeah, so this is the van. Okay.
So this is van level, then we've got a step up, and then you've got a couch, which is another step up.
Wonky van.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you for seconding that. I'm proud of my wonky vans. Okay, so that is if you want to have the slidey door. Slidey door. What?
So how you supposed to slidey?
I don't know.
Near enough.
Okay. So this is actually a very nice, neat hybrid that can work at the front of your van, and that leaves this whole space available for you to play around with all the other kitchen stuff and other stuff. In terms of access, though, there's less of it.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's a bit harder to get into. It's a bit harder to just see all the space at once.
Yeah, because you have access hatch here in this area. So keep back in the back.
Yeah.
So you can access it from here.
When the door's open, obviously.
Here. You can potentially make it so the floor lifts.
Yeah, you can either lift this bit out, like have a pull out and have a secret compartment.
So this part you can potentially lift. And then obviously you can open the couches as well. So there are a lot of ways you can open the space. But in terms of us pulling things out and stuff like that, basically it'll be like a open top trunk sort of situation most of the time. So very cool. It's up to you whether it'll be useful for you.
Yeah.
You can put the raised bed at the front as well. I don't remember seeing a van with that yet.
You definitely obviously have to put the bed going like this way. You can't just have it completely wide and then you won't be able to use the side door unless you're not using the side door as your main door.
Yeah. So what he means is can you go? Yeah. Are we up?
Yeah, we're up.
Yeah. What he means is that if you were to put the bed, the fixed bed up, you would have to, yeah.
Could you rotate the 3D view 12 degrees clockwise?
Sure.
Sure. Let me just hold on. No. I've got a better idea. I don't need to get it down here. So there's the 3D view, and all we'll do is
where's my protractor?
That.
Is that clockwise? That's anti-clockwise. Sorry.
Oh.
You need to
So
go clockwise.
There you go. Perfect.
Now
I'll just hold it there forever.
Yeah, put it back.
Okay.
See? It's
Sorry.
possible.
You're going to have to live with a wonky van. Right, back up to the top.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh, I remember. Okay.
The bed.
Right. Yeah, so what he was actually saying, and I was trying to explain, was if you were to put the bed next to the door, which in this case is here, okay, and it's not even written on, door's right there. Basically you have to put it lengthwise so you have a chance to use the side door. Do account that this space is only about 50 centimeters wide. Okay, so it's going to be a very narrow corridor, or you can completely sort of cut the sliding door out of the equation in terms of using it as a main door and only as a really nice pretty window when you're lying in bed. And basically just put it on smudgy. Put it lengthways.
And then what you can do is you can use the hatch.
Sorry.
You can have like a secret hatch going between the cabin and the your bed area, and you can use the back door if you did want to get out without going through the front doors. Yeah. If you wish, and take those lovely Instagram shots out the back window. Although your bed won't be there, so
they'll still be lovely. You don't have you still have other stuff there.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, so but do have in mind that if you choose to use your back doors as your main doors, it'll be trickier to potentially get in or out. Like if you park against the wall, or like parking on the street or something like that. Basically, access getting in and out is a bit trickier when you have to basically open the doors. Okay.
Yes.
So that's that. I can go like forever designing different design scenarios for these. So, frankly, if you want me to do a specific one, then let me know and I'll try and sketch it out for you. That is absolutely fine with me. Just we better move on to the next point, because otherwise we'll be here forever. So talk about them.
Indeed, we've been here for 37 minutes already, so.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so really, the next kind of in a way, the most important part of this whole exercise is, well, there's no point having this space of storage if you don't actually put some effort into making it organized and functional. I don't mean like by any means like crystal pristine with labels and you get whipped every time you put the screw in the I don't know, the sock pile or whatever. I don't care that much.
Screws and socks.
People are different, and I don't judge. Whatever. Frankly, in our sock box, there's been plenty of weird stuff,
There has been.
including paint
And pins.
and pins.
And paper clips, I think.
Quite a few stuff. I've dropped pretty weird stuff in there, but
Anyway, we're digressing. But the point is,
I think we get more viewers for that.
in regular people's houses, or more should I say, in regular people's garages,
Yeah.
it's usually quite a mess. And now, it is partially due to, since you don't live in that space, you kind of just throw everything in, and then when you need something from it, you're like, well, it's somewhere in the garage. But in a small space, you can't exactly do that because you don't have the luxury of having such a big space that you can just throw everything in against the wall and then hope that it just kind of fits, because in a space even as big as underneath this bed here, you will not be able to fit in random crap. You kind of have to organize it a little bit, and if you organize it a little bit, obviously that helps you finding what you need and also knowing what you have, so you don't clutter it up with so much junk. The question is, how do you organize it so that it works well and is organized-ish, sort of?
Well, you say that you can't just chuck things, freely, but you can. It's
You
just
can't chuck a lot of stuff free.
it's just from the perspective that in a small space, when you start cluttering things up, you start feeling. Well, I personally have experienced it quite often, and I've met pretty much. Probably maybe 95% of people that I've spoken to about this is basically when your space starts feeling cluttered, you start feeling more claustrophobic, and stress starts to raise its head and things like that, for no other reason than the fact that it's messy and basically you can't find things essentially.
Yeah.
There's a difference between creatively messy, where basically for example your studio it looks an absolute mess to the outsider, but you know exactly where things are and you don't want anybody to move it because otherwise you lose it and you can't do your job. So yeah, it's not that sort of situation basically. So in a small space, that the speed of that sort of reaction like quadruples, like big time. So yeah, you have to be quite responsible in that sense. So basically, and there's only there's a few things that you can do quite easily, such as shelves. Like strategically place the shelves in the most convenient places, or pull out platforms. I'm a big fan of pull outs and things like that.
Because if you obviously cramp things against the wall in a corner and you eventually need to access it or you eventually need to get to it, if you're going to have to crawl in there and kind of remove a lot of stuff in order to get to that, rather than just pulling a drawer out and going, in those access panels in those in those movies, they pull out an access panel, it's got all the electronics on it, all the boards over, they're pulling it out and they're doing that. That's actually quite a smart move, because then you can access all your electronics in one place rather than just having a giant pile of wires in the corner.
Yeah. Also, if you put in your batteries there, which a lot of people do, whether no matter in which design, the batteries usually go there. Plan the platform or where your batteries stand, because batteries are heavy. So you still need to plan a slightly stronger structure than a few sticks. Piled together. Get the right joints in place so the batteries can actually stay up and not fall and make your van explode.
Yeah, by the way, did you know that batteries are either made of acid or they're made of lithium, which is highly flammable, both of which are not good if you kind of push them around or knock them over or something.
Also, given that your batteries usually share home with all the rest of the stuff that you own that you just throw in there, you need to secure them and make sure that they're protected, because if they get broken, you know, which it's not that easy to do because, you know, obviously the casing is relatively strong given what they have inside. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Yeah, basically, make sure that nothing that you throw in like pierces them or throws a cap off or something like that.
Because then you get acid everywhere, and that's fun to clean up.
You can't clean it up. You probably need to get a new van by the time you catch it or something. But literally, your entire your van can catch fire if you mess up in this respect. So when you put something that delicate there, make sure that it's secure. Okay,
Exactly.
they're quite heavy, so if they're on the floor, they're probably gonna be fine. And then just put some sort of barrier around them. Or in tubs I've seen, you don't need to do overcomplicated things with it.
No.
But if you raise them higher, then that becomes a little bit more unstable, even though they're heavy. So again, barriers and things like that. And I really like, so moving on from the batteries, so in terms of shelving, I really like contoured shelving as well. So something that we did in our car/van conversion in New Zealand is we actually used
Let's zoom in. Where are you going to do it on the base?
I'll do it here.
Alright. Oh, that's right where the light is. Don't worry.
What do you mean where the light is?
See where the light shine.
Oh, I'll do it next to it then. It's fine.
But there you go. If you stand... if you stood right there, you block the light. Doesn't matter. No, then you get a giant shadow over it.
Okay, so I'm right here. So as I was saying, so in our van, in our first conversion, we did not cover our wheel arches because we didn't even think of it. But so this is a wheel arch.
You know, without the box on, because a lot of wheel arches come with it. So if you strip off the box, this is the shape of the wheel arch underneath.
Yeah. Wheel arch. Okay, and basically what we did was we cut our chipboard, I think in this case it was, exactly to the shape of said wheel arch. So actually in the bird's eye view, the shelf would look something like that. Okay, so basically we cut it exactly to the wheel arch to use all of the airspace available to us, and that is actually very useful, especially when you know your garage is at the back of the van.
Yeah, because a lot of people also put the garage at the back of the van to kind of cover the wheel arches so that the rest of the space in the van they can use for something else. But then you can also contour your shelves or whatever around the wheel arches directly, and that way you maximize the space around the wheel arches. Because imagine if you just had a square box here, you kind of lose this corner. You're going to draw the square box in blue. There
you go. And this space here,
is valuable.
That's
space.
a lot of space. A lot of space. We put this was our pantry in New Zealand, and that's at least another 10 cans. You know,
food
of tomatoes actually.
Well, yeah, we pretty much just ate tomatoes there.
Yeah, so I highly recommend strategically placed contoured shelving. See, it sounds professional.
Carry on talking.
Oh, it's gonna take you ages to write.
Carry on talking.
He's messing around. Okay. Other things that you need to think about how you store in brief, because we're going to be doing live streams on these topics quite extensively, and some of them are going to be here on the channel available for everybody, and some of them are Patreon exclusive, and a lot of these sort of the detailed versions of these chats are located on Patreon. So if you want to go and check those out,
there'll be a link in the description.
You're more than welcome.
Strategically placed contoured shelving, trademark, copyrighted.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. So other things that you need to think about how to store. Again, we said bikes and things that I usually store on pull-out platforms. Pull-out platforms. Actually, I've drawn one on the thumbnail. So if you like to have a look right now while I struggle here, then you're more than welcome.
There we are.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm not rubbing out my strategically placed. You can rub out the picture, you're not rubbing out the words.
Okay, is that still in the light though? Oh, okay. I need a bigger whiteboard. Bye-bye.
That was the problem earlier, wasn't it, when we were trying to plan stuff?
Yeah.
You increase the size of the page and just everything increased with the size with it.
Okay.
How is that useful?
What was I saying? Bikes pullouts. Which means
Good luck drawing a bike.
I need the black pen. Okay. So the black pen is right here. Okay. So if this is the back of the van, as drawn on the thumbnail, and this is your raised bed. Okay. I hope that's descriptive enough. Which way should I draw it? I'll draw it this way. So if it's like so, okay. And basically what you'll have is right here on the floor on a nice set of rails, some sort of platform like that. Basically like a pan of some sort, a box with an open top. There it is. Okay. Probably not see-through, so you will not be seeing these lines through it. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Scribble, scribble. Yep, okay. And basically this is on some sort of rails, so it depends where you put it. You can put them on the side here, the rails, or you can put them underneath. There's different designs that you can go with it, but basically the bike would just go right.
Can you actually draw a bike?
We're about to find out.
I've never been able to draw a good bike.
Well, good is up for debate. That looks sort of like a bike.
Isn't there a connection between the two wheels?
Well, isn't that the connection between there's a chain, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, there's pedals there. That's what it's missing. There you go.
Okay, close enough.
There you go. So you store your bike nice and securely on said rail board.
Yeah. Now this is obviously not to scale because the bike will be pretty much the whole height. You might even need to take a tire off.
Or you get a foldable bike.
Or that, but whatever. Each to their own. We personally don't have expensive bikes, and if we were to take our bikes with the van, we will store them on the outside because
they take up a lot of space on the inside.
And
but the reason people store them on the inside is because, you know, they're a lot easier to steal, I guess, if you store them on the outside overnight.
There's that, but there's also the fact that a lot of people with bikes that we've seen on YouTube actually have proper bikes because they actually bike a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to rust on the outside.
Yeah, that's another reason as well.
Exposing it to weathering 24/7 as you live outside essentially is
not the best idea.
Yeah, so that's something important to plan if you're going to be storing something like that. And again, you can imagine it like you can plan the shelves here, nicely contoured.
Yeah, you could create like a little workshop so you could have all your tools. To repair your bike or motorbike or van or
whatever you want to store.
Like.
Yeah.
Actually, we have seen someone. They didn't store this inside the van, although I would be incredibly impressed if they did manage to store it inside the van. They were actually towing like a smart car or something, and they kind of had like a mini repair workshop in the back of their van. I think they were like car mechanics. Or something. So they towed their smart car, which is obviously the car that they use when they don't want to drive, but they also had like a out of the back of the van mini workshop something or other. Pretty cool.
Indeed. Okay. Now another thing that you need to sort of plan ahead of time, roughly how you're gonna store it at the very least, is your water tanks. Okay. So if your water tanks are going underneath the fixed bed, the chances are you might need an over wheel arch water tank.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you could basically probably have just a long tube of a water tank. However, then you might need to raise it potentially. You need to build a platform for it, and then you need to think about how you can utilize the airspace in the platform as well when that's not actually holding the water tank. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
It does to me. Also, another reason.
That makes sense to you.
Also, another reason is because a lot of people like to fill up their water tanks either from the, they drill a hole in the side of the van or open the back doors to be able to fill it up from the outside. And if you have the water tanks back here, obviously you can just cut a hole in the van and your water tank's right on the inside.
Yeah,
Voila.
yeah. Actually, that is a very valid point that we were actually discussing earlier today with trying to jigsaw puzzle our water tank in random places of the van. Seriously, it's so annoying that you need water, isn't it?
Okay, there are three things that are very annoying. The annoying thing number one is that you need water to drink and cook and such. The second thing is that humans need to shower, and the third thing is that humans need to poop and pee. Which is, if you didn't have to do any of those things, your van would be a lot lighter. There would be a lot more space, and you could put a lot more in it.
We're such messy creatures.
And then we sweat and we breathe out water, so then you have to deal with condensation.
Seriously, building your own home, and especially in such a small space where you have to be quite intimate with yourself to actually recognize what happens.
In Quirky Campers, Greg, if you haven't checked out his channel, just type in.
They probably know Greg before they know us.
Probably do, but anyway,
honest.
he did a talk on insulation and such, and he got up this giant graph that showed you the dew point of the humidity level of how much water the air can store, and then as you get colder, the air can store less and less water, and that's why condensation happens when you've got a high humidity point, and then it gets down, and then the temperature goes down, so the water can't hold in the air anymore, so it condensates on everything else. Do you think about this when you're living in your house? No, you don't.
Well, the person that built the house probably did, but you
Sort
don't.
of.
But I took a picture of the graph, but I need to find a better quality one. If I can't, I need to message him and get it from him. It is a really good graph, and actually I feel like now that I know this, I feel responsible that when I leave my van, I have to know what the temperature is, so to know what. To leave the temperature in my van, so we reduce condensation.
Yeah, because if we know what the temperature and the humidity of the van is, we need to have kind of this censored alarm system in it, so that when the humidity reaches 100%, regardless of the temperature, the heating needs to kick on to stop condensation happening in the van. That's another system we need to design.
Yes. And not because technically it's I think we should say it's optional. We're just we just love tracking things. So we're a bit crazy in that respect.
I don't know what the humidity is in this room.
I don't know, boiling. Okay, what was I talking about?
Water tanks.
Alright, how do we get onto the?
Well, water tanks are difficult.
I was about to say. I was about to say something.
Indeed.
I was about to say that we were trying to arrange our water tank, and we kept forgetting that we had to access the water tank.
Yep.
Because it has to be next to the wall, but also you have to think about where you're cutting in that wall, and also I don't particularly want the hole on the outside because of the whole stealth factor.
Well, the thing is,
for just security reasons.
And also, the more holes you cut in a van, then the more insulation you have to put there, and wind drafts and blah blah blah.
So really, we are trying to put, let's say, the water tank accessible if you were to open the door and the hole is here. Okay.
And then you just stick a tube and you just go. Bloop.
Yeah, that way, basically it's still next to the wall. You just have to open the door to fill it up, or something like that. So yeah, just be aware that the placement of the water tank actually really matters. Also, a quick tip about that: keeping the water tank lower down is preferable. Higher up, it would start unbalancing. The vehicle will become top heavy.
Yeah.
So you start leaning too much around corners.
Yeah, because if you have 100, because of water is about 1 kilo per litre, so if you have the water tank kind of up here and you put 100 kilos up there, that 100 kilos then sways the van, and it's a lot more, because it's further away from the centre of gravity of the van, it actually rocks the van a lot more than if you were to put it down low, which is not a good idea. I've got it.
This is my stretch alarm.
Get going, get stretching.
Okay.
Alright.
That's my exercise for today.
Right.
Kidding, we're going out for a walk. Okay. That was the water tank, okay?
Right, so we've got batteries, we've got bikes and other, garage accessible things, and we've got water tanks that you also need to think about.
And really, so some of the final points now we're getting, so don't worry, the lecture will not be that going on for much longer. So I'll say rule 1, really is remember to use the height as well as the horizontal floor space. Very
Indeed.
important. That's why shelves are very good. Also, platforms and lifting things that you can do it, because using the space underneath really matters.
Yeah.
Don't just look at that and then basically just stuff and throw things all on the floor. If you go and watch our tour of our Scandinavia van, there was the useless cupboard, which is basically a box with no shelving whatsoever
Underneath the fridge.
Yeah, which basically you couldn't do anything other than just throw everything on the floor essentially, and then eventually it just piles up.
Oh, and then you're driving around a corner and you just hear. Was that a useless cupboard? Yeah, that was a useless cupboard.
It's like Monica's closet from Friends, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So use the height. Very important in building platforms to do so.
Yep.
Also, if you do have, I think we mentioned that a bit earlier, but if you do have enough room in your floor, cut a hole in the floor and use the underneath the floor space.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's again using the height, but only going down, not up. Okay. Yep. But usually there isn't that much space in the floor, unless you have some sort of secondary platform that you've built.
Yeah.
That's basically just all your floor is very thick.
Yeah. Because usually in that compartment, I think they store the spare tire in that compartment usually.
Yes, but I haven't seen vans have that sort of thing. That's usually a car thing.
Where do vans store their spare tire?
I don't know. That's a good question. Where do vans store their spare tires? Some vans, I
see it on the outside, or like literally bolted to the underneath of the van.
Yeah, but usually vans are quite low to do that. Like, I mean, yes, you can store the water tanks and stuff, but they're kind of nestled up.
Boomy's one was stored in the front.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's actually stored in the front,
because the engine was underneath the seats.
Yeah, but I think Mercedes Sprinters and Crafters have the engine in the correct place and not in between the driver and the passenger.
Yeah, you'd literally have to lift up the passenger and driver seats to check the oil and all that. It's crazy. Monica is messy. No, she's not. She's only messy in one specific place.
In her room, okay? It's in her cupboard room. I can't believe there was a whole episode about that cupboard.
I want to watch it now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Well, so, any questions, guys? Because I think that's pretty much covered everything that we're going to tell you today about storage and van. There's obviously more, but then we get into more specific technical things.
Which looks like the roof of the van.
That would be like a what is it? If you get your head hit, what is it?
You get
like crowning a lump.
Yeah,
it's somebody hit the van on the head.
Oh.
So you got a lump.
See, it's got a cold patch on it. We put a cold patch on it.
Oh yeah, we're taking care of our wonky vans. Okay, so
indeed.
Yeah.
Don't think we got any questions. So should we wrap it up?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. That's pretty much it, guys. There's more live streams and detailed stuff on Patreon for you to peruse and basically get along with your van conversion really quickly. So make sure you check that out. Next week we're doing another live stream on something I do not remember what.
On scroll it up.
Suspense.
Convertible table surfaces and functions.
Yes, we're going to be talking about tables. It can't get more exciting than this, can it? We're talking to you about tables of all things. But in all fairness, it is a very important topic when it comes to small spaces and van conversions. So if you're converting your van or planning to, then please do join us if you wish to have a chat with us about that and get some help. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe for more things like this, and so you can get notified for our Camp Quirky videos and other things. Make sure you press the bell notification icon and comment down below with I don't know, van design stuff, or what do you think of that? Which sort of
which of these scribbles inspired you?
Yes, which of these scribbles inspired you? That's a very good way to put it. Or did we not inspire you at all and just put you off van life altogether? That would be very sad. But please,
and on that note, we shall end.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.